Did you know over 60% of first-time clients do not return for a second visit? That is so painful, but it doesn't have to be that way. That's where Maya comes in. Maya is the ultimate marketing software for the beauty and wellness industry. We have a proprietary funnel utilizing special algorithms to help connect the right consumers with the right providers at your business. This means that Maya helps you get higher spending clients you love to work with who stay the long haul. If you want to increase your revenue, increase your client count, increase your average ticket, and increase your new client retention, then you need Maya. Go to joinmaya.com to set up your own personal virtual tour and see why over 500,000 consumers have trusted Maya and the businesses we work with to find their perfect beauty and wellness pro. We promise you will love Maya.
Thank you for joining me. This is Kati Whitledge with the Beyond the Technique podcast. Today, we're going to talk about the new way to motivate your stylists. I have a very special guest who is a podcaster himself, but he's more than that. His name is Blake Reed Evans, and I'm so excited to introduce you to him. He's an award-winning hairstylist, salon owner, and global educator based in Tampa, Florida. With over a decade of experience behind the chair and on stage, Blake is known for delivering high-impact education that blends technical excellence with real-world strategies stylists can actually use. He's a longtime member of the Redken Artist Network and Salon-centric It Takes a Pro team. Blake travels across the country teaching hair color, business development, and social media classes, both in salons and on the biggest beauty stages in the industry. He's been recognized as one of the top 100 stylists by Modern Salon, with features in Nylon, Teen Vogue, and Rachel Zoe. Blake is the co-owner of Sheer Art Salon in Tampa, where he leads a team of stylists with a strong focus on mentorship, education, and customized client experiences. And as a content creator and influencer, Blake also shares engaging education-driven content with thousands of followers on Instagram and TikTok, helping to elevate the craft and culture of hairdressing. Whether he's teaching a hands-on class, hosting a retreat, or keynoting in an industry event, Blake brings humor, heart, and a deep passion for helping stylists grow behind the chair and beyond it. So without further ado, help me welcome Blake Reed Evans. Welcome to Beyond the Technique.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here, Kati.
I can't believe your accolades in such a short amount of time. You are a very, very driven human being. Have you always been like that, or where did you get that drive?
Yeah, thank you. I know as you're sitting there reading it, I was like, I need to shorten that bio because it's, but yeah, I've always been like this. And it's one of those things that I definitely is in reaction to how I grew up, but I've just always known that I wanted to do well at whatever it is that I do. And I didn't even know I wanted to do hair when I first went to hair school, but when I did it and I realized I not only liked it, but I loved it, I'm going to be the best at this. And yeah, it's like a hardwiring. It's like something I can't help almost.
I want to hear about the beginning for you. Is that the first path you took, or did you go to college for something else first? How did you get into hair?
Yeah, I went to university briefly. I was studying marketing and international business. I thought that I would go into something like fashion maybe based, or I don't know, something the goal is to move to New York and work for a big company. My best friend and I used to joke that I would be the CEO of Charmin toilet paper if that's what it meant to be good at business though. But yeah, that's what I originally wanted to do. But then the school I went to was fine, but it just wasn't for me. And so I asked for a gap semester, and then my mom said, no, you have to be in school for something. And then my friend and I were bleaching each other's hair one day, and we were talking about what I needed to do next. And as we were bleaching each other's hair, my friend was like, "Why don't you go to hair school?" And it was like, let me look into that. And I was like, okay, that buys me 10 months to figure out what I really want to do. And then here I am 15 years later. So it's crazy.
I swear,
divine intervention.
Once you're in,
sure.
you're in. Once you're in, you're in. So you finished hair school, and then what happened next for you? Are you at the salon that you started in? Like, what was your journey like?
Yeah, I know it's one of those rare things in the industry, but I started at Sheer Art as an associate straight out of school. I graduated and like next day started at Sheer Art and started as an associate. And yeah, I haven't worked anywhere else. I have 10,000 other jobs. It's just, but still killing it behind the chair, even still to this day.
I mean, for people listening, what does it mean to start as an associate? Because what people don't know is that you host the podcast for Summit Salon Business Coaching Company, which is a
Yeah.
really big deal. And there's a very specific path of growth that Summit has helped many, many owners really grow up their talent. And for you to grow up in this way is really special. But what did that look like for you?
Yeah, I started as an associate, and that just means like super hands-on training. It just bridges the gap between like school and being on the floor. And the salon straight away just like showed me a path that made me stick around. They showed me like what my long-term earning was, potential for ownership in the future, and I saw it in motion. And like honestly, like that's what has kept me this entire time, and that's thanks to a lot of what Summit does as an associate program, and then just having really good founders and other existing shareholders for the salon, and just good mentorship and good ways for them to be able to continue to check in with me. And they also like handled me well. Like I feel like sometimes people like me end up in salons and the salon owner either gets jealous, gets nervous that not as much income is going to come in, and they like try to control the person versus like the entire time at Shiart they're like, yeah, go do that, that sounds cool, yeah, have fun, like enjoy that. And yeah, and it's just one of those things that I think was really really well handled. Like I always encourage, because people are like, how do I get more of you? And I was like, well, don't swat their hand whenever they show up, you've got to like harness the energy, and it really, it's paid off because I'm still here.
So if I'm hearing you right, you came in with a ball of energy and kind of had a vision for how you wanted to succeed, and they really gave you the ability to fly and kind of
Yeah.
be an eagle and soar.
Yeah, like literally it started with I was an associate still, and we were having issues like every business ever, with people showing up to classes and meetings. And so then I was like, well, why don't I just start like a salon group chat? Like I'll tell nobody to reply to it. I'm just going to send out like little reminders, and I'll do it. Like it takes 2 seconds. And so I got everybody's phone number on a piece of paper and started that text chain. And that's how my involvement with education within the salon company started. And that was my first like little job. An owner that like was controlling would have been like, no, I'll do it, good idea, and would have like taken the wind from beneath my wings, a little bit. But they were just like, yeah, go do it. And it was like those little things that they really embraced, and it worked.
I was sitting here like that'd be a dream. Like every owner wants, or I feel should want, the person who's like, I'll take ownership of that and handle.
Yeah.
It's like that's a dream. So it's clear that they saw leadership potential in you right away, and you do wear 1,000 hats, Blake. So tell us
Yeah.
what makes up your life. Like, what are the things that you're involved in, and like brings you the most energy?
Yeah, so like the if we like break my week down, like if I have a class either Sunday and or Monday, so I'll like get on a plane Saturday or Sunday, fly to the destination, teach Monday. That's either with Redken mostly, once in a while with Summit, and then sometimes an event with like Salon Centric or an independent event, and then I'll come home Monday or Tuesday depending on the event, and then Tuesday's my day I pray to have off, and then Wednesday mornings are spent doing podcasts and coaching for my team. And then Thursdays, I do a lot of meetings and one-on-ones for my team, or that's where I'll plan a lot of content. I'll edit and shoot a lot of content. And then I'm behind the chair Wednesday evenings, and then Friday is majority of the day, and then rinse and repeat.
Oh my goodness, it's a lot. But I mean, for somebody who's a creative, probably having that many outlets is really what fills you up on a regular,
Oh
having the
gosh, yeah.
variety.
Yeah, the variety is like variety is the spice of life for me. Like I love it. I like the cadence of having a lot going on. Like anytime something like slows down a little bit, it like freaks me out a little bit. Like even during the holidays when I'm trying to relax, but the idea of not flying for 3 weeks like is so crazy to me. But I love the variety, but I also love the speed and cadence of everything.
Yeah. And I feel that because when you fly so much, you're like, this is my life now. This is who I am. It becomes a lifestyle. And then when you're not, you're like, who am I? What does my
Yeah.
life mean?
I'm like, oh, I have enough time to like prep food, like
Yeah.
I can cook properly. Like this is great.
That's so fun. Well, and
Yeah.
reading your bio, you are now the salon owner at your company. Tell everybody listening what that means because a lot of salon owners have heard about Summit Salon Business Coaching, but they may not know what it means to offer a shareholder program. And now that's something you had an opportunity to do. And what does that look like for you to be
Yeah.
an owner at that capacity?
Yeah, and thank you for using the term owner because I think that a lot of people hear shareholder and they just like wave it off as if it's this like not real thing. But like I invested thousands of dollars into the business to be an owner, and it is a shareholder program that Summit has helped design, and it basically gives an opportunity for you to own a piece of the pie without having to do the whole thing on your own. And you also are buying into an existing established successful business, and then you also don't have to do everything by yourself. And I think that that's the thing that I think is cool. Like every team, every salon dynamic with shareholders are different. We have a lot of shareholders, but everyone kind of does what they're good at, and some of them, the best thing that they could do is just be a good service provider behind the chair, and then you have some of us that are like, having meetings weekly, making decisions for the company. And then the shareholder team, for the big stuff, will come together, like if we're going to switch softwares or if we're going to like look into a new location, like we'll come together for like those bigger decisions. But the day-to-day stuff, there's a few of us that just kind of oversee the operations that way. And it's great. I mean, honestly, like for a salon owner, having a shareholder program is probably the best thing that you could do because it means you have a safe exit, because the reality is that most salons aren't worth a ton when you go to sell, like if you go to sell it off to somebody, because the second that you as the owner exit, there's no guarantee that those clients will stay. So your business is basically valued on a little bit of the guest service, but mostly like the stuff that's in your building, right, and your inventory. So it's a great way to be able to pass the baton. I think the other beautiful thing about it is that it shows that the business is going to be able to live on forever. Like, and because typically either if a salon owner retires or if they pass away, the business goes away. And that just doesn't have to be the reality if you have a strong shareholder program.
And the earnout potential, does that get diluted depending on how many people are getting a seat at the table? Is it,
It
how does
can,
that work?
yeah. Yeah, so like everyone owns like a certain percentage of the company, and then that's how much you can buy. The first round of shares I bought, I was 27, so like I bought, I bought in, and then had an opportunity to buy like, I think it was like 2% or something like that, and that when I just like bought straight out because it was a smaller amount. I cashed out of crypto, actually, is what I did, and bought the
No
extra
kidding.
extra bit into the salon. And yeah, crypto was making me scary, so I was like, where do I move this money? And yeah, and then so I did that. And as time goes on, as people are slowing down, they can start selling their shares, and the first people who can buy it are the shareholders. If there is some left over, then that's where we would start inviting other people.
Well, congratulations on starting from literally the level one and working your way all the way up and
Thank you.
very quickly, but just having the right character and competencies and commitment, I think is why this has happened for you. And now you are a mentor to the new people starting at your company and even people beyond your company. So when we think about stylists that are newer to this industry, does it look different? What motivates them now versus when you first started in the industry?
Yeah, well, like the thing that I think has been universal in our industry forever is that as service writers, we can do it anywhere. Like I joke, like I could be cutting hair in a field if I wanted to because I can. So as owners, we always have to think about ways like how do we make it enticing for people to stay. And that means that you need to cater to their needs. And the thing that I really want salon owners to understand is that it changes with with every like 3 or 4 years it changes, let alone from generation to generation. And it's really important to dial into what people need, and the only way you can find out is to ask. And so the whole like ruling with an iron fist salon owner era has been dead for 6 years or so. So it's one of those things that really never truly worked, but it's never going to work moving forward. So the thing that I've really found is today is really meeting people where they're at. Like, what is it that makes you happy? And the thing that makes people happy sometimes is not working a lot. So like, do you have flexible schedules? Like, I can't tell you how many like 20-year-olds I've met being like, you know what, I just want to work like 2 days a week. Who am I to like, why would I turn down a really incredible human being that wants to work 2 days a week? Does that mean I need to hire more employees? Of course. Does that mean the stations are going to have 2 to 3 people working out of them? Yes. Those are the realities, but I'd rather get that person for 2 days a week than not have them at all if they're a good fit and if they're talented. And I think that that's the kind of stuff that I really want owners to start thinking about is that level of like, we have more part-time employees than full-time, I think, at this point. um
What
I don't
motivated
care.
you when you first started?
Honestly, the thing that motivated me was at the time, like when I started at my salon, my daughter was 2 months old. So honestly, just like life was motivating. Like I just really wanted to be successful and provide for my family. And I was 19 when I started at Sheer Art. So just like really trying to make shit happen. Was like that was the initial motivating thing. But then as it came into growing more, because once I started hitting the goals, I was like, okay, what's next? The thing that motivated me was having responsibility, like, and being able to help try to get on the other side of um, mentorship and earn everybody's respect. And that took a lot of time. So the thing that Joanne, the founder of our salon, did so good at was just being like, breathe, relax, like take a breathe, and of course that's the last thing you want to hear when you're in your 20s is like chill. But it was great advice because then it took time to build that up, but then now I have it. And that's what kept me going, honestly, was just knowing that I was working towards something bigger than myself. And I think that if someone wants to work in a commission-based salon environment, they also want to be part of something bigger than themselves. Otherwise they could go to a suite. Like I said at the beginning, we can do hair anywhere. So if the people choose to hang out with you, they do want to be a part of something bigger. It's not meaning everybody wants responsibility, but they just want to feel a part of community. And I think that it's important to remember that community, not family. And I think that that's an important designation too.
Yeah, and
Because
talk to us about the difference for you. What does that mean?
yeah, community means like you lift each other up, you raise each other up, but it's still a business at the end of the day, you know, and you can be there for people in the hard times. But the whole designation for family is right. If you just go on TikTok and just Google like businesses who call it a family, you'll see thousands of videos of people saying like it's a red flag, and it's because some people don't like their families. Like, and I use myself as an example. I like my coworkers better than majority of my family members. It's true, like I do, and so it's one of those things I think could be a red flag for people. So like, I'll let my team say it, but I'll never say it. Like, I'll never be like at a career fair being like, we're like a family here, because that would scare off, a portion of the population. Because at the end of the day, like, would you fire your grandmother? The answer is probably, hopefully not. Maybe some people would, but that is family, right? But sometimes you have to let people go, and so that can really create a weird environment. So I love the idea of like we have a strong community, and that's kind of the verbiage I try to lean into
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, I appreciate that a lot. And I think on the flip side, people leave you. And then you're like, is this what family
Yeah,
does? So I feel rejected. Yeah. So I think
yeah, yeah.
the
Well, people do
community
quit
makes
quit the
sense and
salon and
everybody
like,
has a choice what community they want to be a part of. So that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and that's the other part of it is people move on. So like that's why I think community is good, because you're lifting people up, and sometimes you lift them and they leave, and like, and I always say like we're happy to be a part of somebody's journey, even if it's only 2 or 3 years. Ideally, they stick around for longer, but if they don't, that's okay, as long as they leave on good terms.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you brought up flexibility, and let's assume majority of owners here, like we offer that. We already offer flexibility. Are there other things that you're seeing motivate stylists, whether that
Yeah,
be like the financial part of it or education? Like, what do you think? And do benefits even matter anymore? Like, what do you think, and what are you noticing yourself?
I'm starting to watch the trend right now where people are caring about benefits again. There was like this really brief moment where people just didn't care. So we've actually, as of this year, we just altered our vacation policy where everybody who is level 2 and higher, part-time and full-time, gets paid vacation benefits. And before it was full-time employees only. But then, like I said, I was like, we designate this budget for paid vacation, and then like people aren't taking it because we don't have that many full-time employees. And so benefits, I think, are really huge. But truly, like when I say people who want to work in salons, want to be a part of something bigger, you have to make sure that you have a truly an environment that it fosters that, and you can grow people, and making sure that they have a place of being, and that there's no like mean girl behavior, that there is no toxic work environments, that there is respect to people, because that is the stuff that I'm noticing that comes up a lot when it comes to stylists who are entering this industry, is that I don't want to be bullied. I do not want to be in a space where the owner talks down to me. And I also want to make sure that I have a place where I can grow. And I think that that part is massive. And also just being vocal on, like, sometimes I understand that people grow and go, and that's okay. And I think that that alone sucks a lot of the toxic salon owner vibe out of the room. Whenever you're like, I understand some of you are going to leave, like that's okay. I'm proud to be a part of your journey, versus being like trying to control them, and like the clients and whose clients are whose. And like when someone leaves, we're still going to be business people. I'm still going to email them offering them something to come back to us. That's the reality of business. But when you're here, I really want to make sure you feel supported. And when you are ready to leave, or if you are ready to leave, like, it's okay. And I think like those are elements that I think are super important for salon owners to take into consideration, is that.
Yeah. I appreciate that you brought it up, because I think there is such a fear or even like a resentment from salon owners. I'm feeling that vibe coming
Mhm.
into the new year of like, I don't want to be on this hamster wheel of growing people for just 2 to 3 years and they bounce. And often it's done
Yeah.
in obviously a very deceitful, secretive way. And that, if it kept to themselves, is one thing, but we're seeing this leak into the team, and then it's like a trickle effect of more people leaving. Oh my gosh, maybe it is better over here. Maybe I could have more opportunity. You know what I mean? And I see
Yeah.
owners right now really struggling with that sense of, we do now what beauty schools don't do anymore for our team members, and all for finally getting them to that 2 year mark. The 2 year mark is this pivotal mark where you finally see people really blow up and expand themselves and be successful.
Absolutely.
And just then we see this trend of the exit. And like, I agree with you that we do want to be a part of people's journey. I think we're very good at that. And yet we're going to fight to keep the clients.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts, and how do we encourage owners to just stick it out? Or like, what is the new dynamic that can be created where, I mean, are we going to consider hybrid salons, Blake, or what are we going to do to either fix the exit pattern and
Yeah.
how that goes down, or what do we need to do to encourage like this new way? And I bring that up because we were at an event where I met, this is the first time it's ever happened, where I met one owner who had schools, salons, and then suites. And I was
Sweets.
like, you're the first
Yeah.
person to think about
Yeah. She
the
owns the ecosystem.
journey from start to finish, right?
Yeah.
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 What are your thoughts on
Yeah,
that?
I'm a huge fan of that. I think that that's genius. Like, I'm not part owner of our school, but Joanne, our founder, and Heather, one of our shareholders as well, they own a school, and that school does feed into our salon. I'm pro owning suites. Like, I think that if you want to own the ecosystem, do it, because the reality is somebody's quitting you. They're not going to sign a lease with you if they're like quitting you. Now if they're ready to expand their horizons and try something new, then maybe they would sign a lease with you. And I think that part is important. I think when it goes back to what you're saying about the hamster wheel, I think it's a mindset thing. It's, yes, it is a hamster wheel. And instead of saying like you're growing everybody and they're leaving. It's no, you're going to grow people. Some people are going to grow out of your business. And that's why you have to keep yourself fed, which is why you constantly have to be hiring new people. And and I also think that that creates a little bit of healthy competition anyways, a little bit. I'm not crazy about a lot of
It's
competition,
incentive to
but
always be your best.
yeah, of course. Yeah, because you're going to see these people, some people like soar right through the everything and they do really well. And so it's just part of what we do here is what I always say. Like I talk to salon owners all the time where they're like, I feel like I'm repeating myself all the time. And I was like, right. So instead of being frustrated by that, why don't you just recognize it as a reality? Because Heather Bagby says everything has to be revisited about every 6 months. So what do I have? I have a list of our major policies that have to be revisited. Things like time off, dress code, like those things. And about every 6 months, I put out a little message on Connect Team, our communication app, and I just revisit it. Instead of being frustrated by it, I just have like a little file of like a nicely worded message, and I post it about every 6 months on these 6 different topics, and that's just the reality of salon ownership. I'm not frustrated by that. Like I don't know why people exhaust so much mental energy into repetitive behavior, because yeah, it's part of it. So the other part of it too is when you receive a team member and you are the one that grow them from school. Schools have never really gotten somebody ready to work in a salon. That's our job, right? And so that's where we grow them. But we also hire people who are not brand new to the industry, so you receive someone who's also gotten training somewhere else. So there's a lot of value in that. And so I used to get really hung up on that too, where it's like, we trained this associate, we spent thousands of dollars in their development, and then they left. And then someone said to me one time, well, how many times have you hired somebody else that has experience that was trained with thousands of dollars by somebody else? And I was like, oh, done. And so it
Balances each other out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm on a mission to help figure out how can we create for commission salon owners the healthiest way for people to exit, to avoid some of the deceitful, secretive things that can take place. And when I say that, it's with the caveat that leads to kind of poisoning the culture. Where it's a secret against the top people, but everybody else seems to have known or been, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
no,
I don't know how to fix that problem yet. I'm bringing it
Yeah.
up because I feel like the more it's talked about, the more we can collaborate and come to the answer together. But that is one area that I have such a heart for owners and want to figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you talk openly about understanding that you're going to be a part of some people's journey, like it's fine. Like I even one of my coworkers, she was so upset that I think we had like 3 people leave within like 2 months, and she was so upset for us as the owners, as the salon, like, and I was like, well, I'm like, it's just part of doing business. Like I don't know what else to tell you. And I was like, some people just grow and go. And she goes, oh my gosh, I never realized that. And I was like, yeah, it's fine. And she goes, you guys need to talk about that out loud. And I was like, noted. So we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
And I think that part honestly is massive. And then the secrecy that happens, like, I think to avoid it, I'm the nicest person ever, but I'm also very direct. So if I see something wrong, I'll say it. Like if someone is having not one off day, but if I see like 3 off days in 2 weeks, I'll be like, is everything okay? What's going on? And I feel like that alone helps people. And that kind of keeps them in the loop, but also might keep them happy and keep them around. But sometimes it's opened up the conversation of like, I think I'm ready to do something new. And I'm like, okay, so what does that look like for you? What's the timeline look like? And that's okay, and I'm excited. Yep. And we're supportive of that.
I think this is good. We've talked about ways to motivate stylists and ways that we can keep ourselves motivated when things don't go our way, quote unquote, and becoming accepting that this is what we're signing up for, but you still are called to a purpose. So what purpose do you feel the most excited for yourself personally that you're going towards this year?
I think the biggest thing is just like deeper relationship with my team in terms of their growth and their development, and focusing on like what they want to focus on versus like my own KPIs. And the more I've leaned into that, even just going last year, just like, what is the goal? Like, do you want to take a vacation? Do you want to add a day? Do you want to take a day away? Like, do you want to start working with associates? Like, what is it that you want to work towards? That has been the biggest thing. So I just want to figure out ways to, although this sounds like corporate, but like I want to figure out a way to streamline it so that everyone is getting that same experience, because I've had really powerful conversations last year with certain individuals, and I need to figure out ways to streamline it to make it just what we do here, and it's a universal experience for every employee.
I just want to like tie something together that you were the first to say, I'll send out a text to everybody to remind them of our team meetings. And now you're the one who's coaching in your Connect app with your team. And this is a strength of yours, is to communicate. And a huge part of that is listening and then taking what you hear and applying it and making changes. So I applaud you for being
Thank you.
somebody who's constantly evolving yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the biggest piece of advice is listen, and don't shut down when someone gives you feedback. Not every feedback is good feedback, by the way, so you don't have to listen to everything, but like just listen to them. They'll tell you what they want, and if they don't know, then it's not a real problem. I tell my team that all the time. I was like, if you don't know what you want on the other side of it, then it's a non-issue. You don't have to bring me a solution, but you need to tell me like, what is it that you want? Like, what is the real issue for you? And then we'll be able to do something about it. But thank you. Yeah. Just listen to them. They'll tell you. Ask the
Well,
kids at school too, if you ever
yeah.
do a career fair. Like, it's so good. I love picking their brains because it's no skin off their back, because they're most likely not going to work for you. So they'll tell you what they're looking for. And that to me is, I think, super important too.
I love this, Blake. I'm wondering if you have any other final words of wisdom for everybody listening today.
I think my final words of wisdom would be focus on the good people, the good providers, the good things that you have going on in life. The negative things are going to be negative, and there's nothing that you can do to control it. So why waste energy? The thing that you can do um, is the only thing you can control really is yourself and what you do. And I think that part is so important to realize. And so just lean into the good ones and the good things, and more of that will happen. And as the bad things come along, or the not so great things, that it should just roll off your back, because the only thing you can control is yourself.
Yeah, that's great advice. Well, I appreciate you joining me today. Thank you, Blake. And we'll definitely have to do this annually together.
I would love that.
Take
Yeah.
turns.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Katie, for having me. And thank you, friend, for listening. This is so cool to be on the other side of things. I don't get to do this often.
Yes, thank you all for joining us here week after week. If you appreciate this platform, please take a moment, leave us a 5-star review wherever you're listening so that more people like yourself will discover Beyond the Technique, where we're here to change the way that you are supported in your business. Until next time, have an awesome day and stay strong.